episode 586 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Tonight, going to be talking about WWE Monday Night RAW. We saw a championship vacated, new championships introduced, a superstar returns, and the Intercontinental Championship is on the line in the main event. Right here, right now, 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hey, Wrestling Fanatics. Welcome to 360 Wrestling Fanatic on this Monday night. I am Lance Brock. And I just want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight on Monday night. 360 Wrestling Fanatic. And tonight, going to be talking all about WWE Monday Night RAW. And then after the Raw recap, I'll see if there's any big, exciting news going on in the world of pro wrestling to talk about. But first, let's just get right into it, get started, talk about WWE Monday Night RAW. Tonight, Raw was live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, at the Bell Center. And we start things off, unfortunately, with some disappointing news. The Women's World Champion, Rhea Ripley, in the ring. She announces last week, during that attack from Liv Morgan backstage, when Liv just whipped that chair right into her and then attacked her in the back. She suffered an injury and will be out for months, so she is having to vacate the Women's World Championship. And then Liv Morgan actually comes out, and Rhea, even with the sling on her arm, she wants to take the fight right to Liv and go at it. But security comes out, Adam Pearce is out, and it's broken up. And I'm just going to skip ahead because this was announced later on in the show. But before I forget, next week we will crown a new Women's World Champion. I'm kind of surprised that they're already going to have a new champion next week. I thought they might have started a tournament next week and then maybe had the finals at Backlash. But no, new Women's World Champion crowned next week on Monday Night RAW. And then our first match of the night this week, we see Ivar already in the ring to take on the returning Sheamus. And now Monday night is fight night. I have to admit, I know Sheamus, of course, has been out with an injury, but apparently it was even longer than I thought it was. I heard Michael Cole say on commentary that he was out for 8 months. Like I said, longer than I thought, but Sheamus gets the victory here, defeating Ivar. And then we see footage from the camera that's on the announce table go over there and have some fun with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. So Sheamus getting a victory in his first match back. Appears to be a babyface for now anyway. And then Triple H makes his way to the ring. Adam Pearce is already in the ring. We got the whole fancy red carpet in the ring. And got something in the middle. And they talk about the draft coming up. And how there were just one set of tag team championships. And then the SmackDown and Raw tag teams deserve their own titles. And they bring out the WWE tag team champions, the Raw tag team champions, I should say, the Awesome Truth, the Miz and R-Truth, and they present them with the new WWE tag team championships. And of course, R-Truth, doing his silliness, was acting like Triple H was Tommaso Ciampa, going with the thing how R-Truth has called DIY DX. And they are presented with the new tag team titles, and Triple H has enough and he leaves. And then Adam Pearce is upset because they made the boss leave, and they make a triple threat number one contenders match. It will be DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa taking on the Creed brothers, Brutus and Julius, and the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Pretty good match here. DIY getting the win to become the number one contenders for the WWE Raw Tag Team Championships. Another thing I forgot to mention real quick, Triple H. I don't remember if last week when he came out, but tonight he was actually introduced as Paul Triple H Levesque. I don't know about you. And of course I know that is his real name, but still gonna take some time to seeing him on TV in a WWE arena being called Paul Levesque. Well, still had the Triple H in the middle, but still gonna take some time getting used to. And we have Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell defeating Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile. Andrade El Idolo versus Dominic Mysterio with J.D. McDonough in his corner. Pretty good match here, actually. And at one point, Dominic Mysterio hits a Canadian destroyer on the ring apron. Well, I would say the only problem I had with this spot, don't get me wrong, looked awesome, but even just a Canadian destroyer in the ring is something like, well, or at least it used to be anyway. It was something spectacular that should be the finish of the match. And he hit it on the apron. And wrestling commentators all the time talk about how the apron is the hardest part of the ring. And I know Dominic didn't get in the ring right away for the cover, but still just having a spot like that and then have it only be a 2 count is just kind of I don't know. I don't know if I wouldn't say it really upset me, but I didn't really care for that. Because if you're going to hit a Canadian destroyer on the ring apron, I would think that's got to be the finish. And that's another thing with the Canadian destroyer. When P.D. Williams, when he started using it in TNA, that was, at the time, something definitely not common. But now, I don't know if I would say it actually is common, but it's not quite as special like watching the TNA Wednesday night pay-per-views, and you would see P.D. Williams do this awesome flip pile driver. It just has kind of, and now you see people kicking out of it. And with P.D. Williams, people didn't kick out of it at first. And then the first time it did happen, it was something special. It was a big deal. Because Turning Point 2004, Chris Sabin and P.D. Williams for the X Division title, the whole build-up was pretty much Chris Sabin not kicking out of the Canadian Destroyer, but kind of countering it. Because nobody has done it yet. And then finally, during the match, when Chris Sabin or P.D. Williams was going for the Canadian Destroyer, he did counter it and turned it into his own cradle shock finisher. Sorry, I didn't mean to go into TNA talk during the Raw recap there. But Andrade gets the win, defeating Dominic Mysterio. Pretty good match. And we have women's tag team action up next once again. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven defeat Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. And then we get the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes in the ring. He calls out Jay Uso, puts him over, since he is now the number one contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And speaking of Jay Uso, he was in action tonight, defeating the Judgment Day's Finn Balor. The main event on Monday Night Raw tonight, the WWE Intercontinental Championship is on the line. Montreal's own Sami Zayn defending against Chad Gable. Sami Zayn really selling the knee in this one. Gets a small cut just above his eyebrow. I thought this was a really good main event. But Sami Zayn defeats Chad Gable in his hometown, retaining the IC title. Then after the match, I was right. Talked about this on Good Morning Wrestling Fans, that I thought after Sami Zayn retained Chad Gable with all this frustration building up inside him, how he was unable to defeat Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship last year, that big main event where he lost, his daughter was in the front row crying, and then he sees that first he works with Sami Zayn, helps him, coaches him, trains him for the big WrestleMania match. And then he sees Sami Zayn defeat Gunther and win the Intercontinental Championship. And then he gets his shot and he does not get the job done. loses the match. I thought that was going to happen, and it did. So we'll probably see a rematch, would be my guess. Don't know if it will be on a Raw or possibly Backlash. And that is about it for right now for this Monday night episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Once again, just want to say thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. Remember, in the comment section, you can go and leave your comments, your thoughts, and your opinions, and your ratings on tonight's Monday Night Raw. Or if you just want to talk about anything pro wrestling and your predictions for this weekend's pay-per-views, TNA Rebellion and AEW Dynasty. I will be back tomorrow morning for the Tuesday episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. So hope everyone will also be here with me. But until then though, I am Lance and I am a wrestling fanatic.